How do all of these saved video from YouTube services work? I mean, how do they work, generally? How do they receive the link to a video stream itself, not just the page containing a flash player? I searched on the web but couldn't find anything useful. All links point to such services, but none indicate how they are actually implemented.
There is a very popular open-source command line downloader called YouTube which does exactly that. It grabs the actual video and audio file links from a given YouTube link, or any other popular web video site like Vimeo, Yahoo Video, Ustream, etc. To see how that's done, look into the YouTube extractor. That's just too much to show here. Other extractors exist for simpler sites. In order to find the video stream, you'd have to pretend to be the actual browser client, trying to load the video. This means you first have to parse the HTML code, load the relevant JavaScript code, and initialize a player object, which plays video through an HTML and LT, video and GT, element. This means that somewhere in the JavaScript execution, there is initialization code for the player, containing important parameters like where to actually find the video. In the simplest case, the video might be present as a URL to some MP4 file, directly in some configuration object. This is very easy to parse by looking at the src attribute of the &LT, video and GT, element. But it could also be generated on the fly with some specific download tokens negotiated between client and some authentication server. The video might also play through a blob URL, so you cannot see it directly, because it's generated via media source APIs. Often, the JavaScript code itself is obfuscated to make it harder to re-engineer it, using variables like XYZ rather than player. Most video websites these days use MPEG- or Apple'(s) and NBSP, HTTP live streaming, HLS, behind the scenes. These do not use direct URLs to a video file, but instead work with a so-called manifest file. The manifest provides meta information to get the actual video stream. The manifest file, .mpd, for example in Dash, and .m3u8, for HLS, will contain links to segments of video and audio, which you'd later have to combine to get a playable file. Many websites transmit these manifests from the server to the client player, so if you can inspect the network requests made by the client, so might find a .mpd file which you can then just use to download the video segments from your own client. However, the manifest could also be transmitted via other side channels, embedded into some JavaScript code, generated on the fly, etc. For YouTube you can see how the code tries to extract the Dash manifest URL from the transmitted configuration information. There's no general solution for this. It requires careful inspection and debugging of the target site.
Start with a typical video. Using the same id, construct a URL like this. The response will be a query string, like this, edited for readability. Extract the player_response value. This will be a JSON object, like this. Then extract the signature cipher value. This is a query string, like this. The URL is the URL to the audio or video. However, before you can access the URL, you must add an entry to the query string. The new key is the value under SP above, sig in this case. The new value is the value under S above, Zok 0 QJ8 Rigi Hen 3 SPF 2 Hubscourage Funkstfolkasks 4 Ivor 1 Japa ... in this case. However, before you can add the new entry, you must decode the S value. To decode the value, take the following steps. First, visit the original page. In the source code, will be some text like this. Which you can turn into. In this new page, will be some code like this. Take the original S value, and run it through this function. Result will look about the same, but scrambled. Finally, you can construct the resulting URL. I have a library and program that does these steps. This URL.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.